Tonight on the Black Channel, you thought you knew the new black media. Well, welcome to the new black media. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting super fortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, boy, we have a lot of ground to cover. We sure do. But before we do, I have something I want to play for you all. I have something I want for you to hear, because we have a special guest in the building with us here tonight. Somebody I've been waiting to talk to here for a minute. I want you all to go ahead and watch this first.
Every time somebody go to talking about the Super Bowl, I say, hey, did you see that little sign that said Eve after dark? And then I give them a little lightweight, little history lesson.
That was the hottest club right there on Avalon.
People don't realize how important Eve After Dark was to Compton. How many careers got started there, whether it was Dr. Dre, D.L. Hughley, Robin Harris.
Eve After Dark is like a hood version of what Club 54 was in New York.
The place where young kids could go, have fun, and be safe. Dance contests, singing contests.
The finest girls in the city, from Gardena, from Compton, from L.A., they would come to the Eve After Dark, and they wanted to see us dance.
We got comedy. Brad Sanders, Marsha Warfield, Honest John
Witherspoon,
Chris Tucker, all them cats, it all come to the club.
I was taken under the wing of the world-class wrecking crew. Grandmaster Lines of the world-class wrecking crew don't get enough credit for what he did to spark this too. He the first one that gave Dre a DJ job.
I don't know how Dre ended up on my turntables. And he had people dancing to this weird mix. One record was at 100 and some odd BPMs. The other one was like 64. So people don't know whether to dance fast or slow dance, but the mix sound good.
It was a lifesaver because, you know, in those days, there was a lot of stuff going around in the city. We had it really hard. So the Eve After Dark was that safe haven that we could go and just have fun and not remember or know anything that might have been at home.
Brothers and sisters, I'm very glad and very honored here to invite to the program here tonight, Mr. Alonzo Williams. Welcome to the Black Channel, brother. It's good to be able to speak with you here again.
Good to be here. How you doing today, folks?
Well, sir, first of all, for everybody who doesn't know the backstory on this here, so I went to go talk to Alonzo 4 years ago for my upcoming documentary, 8 a.m., 4 years ago. Little did I know, at the same time I'm talking to him, the whole world was about to shut down for 3 or 4 years. So I talked to him and everything, and it was a very enlightening conversation. I can't wait for you all to see what happens with it. I put out the trailer here for 8 a.m. a couple of weeks ago, and I get a call from Alonzo saying, hey, my folks told me about the trailer and everything. But then he told me about something. He told me about a documentary, and he had told me when I came to see him that he had been working on one then. And now I got to see what it was. It's called Eve After Dark. So, Alonzo, why don't you go ahead for the folks who may not know anything about it at all? What is Eve After Dark, and what is its significance?
Eve After Dark is my nightclub. I opened in 1979. I was a young DJ, 22 years old, and I've been blessed to be in a position to open one of the first teen nightclubs in our area, and that was Eve After Dark. It ran for about 6 years. It played a major part in West Coast hip hop before Dudo. And straight out of Compton, they only showed Dudo. But Eve After Dark was before Dudo. But because Dre and Q Hugh and Drake came in later on. He was a part of Eve After Dark, but not as much. They focused on Dudo 4. But what really made Eve After Dark stand out, and you have a resurgence of popularity within the 2022 Super Bowl when Dre stood on top of Eve After Dark when he did his halftime show and showed the world a overview of Compton with Tam, the city monument, and along with the courthouse. But the center stage of Eve After Dark on the 50-yard line was Eve After Dark, and that right there was a major boost to us as the owners and the people who established that.
Tam Burgers, I know it well there. I've been to it there, corner of Rosecrans and Central, I believe. And definitely, I never got to go by the old spot. That was I wish we had time to go by there after I interviewed you, but we wound up having to leave because things started getting hectic. Let me go back a little bit here because I want you all to understand. I saw the documentary. I went to Amazon. I watched it. As a documentarian myself, I can endorse this film because number one, he does what the documentarian is supposed to do. He speaks to all the principles. So almost 100% of the people that he mentioned or anybody mentions in the film, you actually get to hear from them. So I found that to be very refreshing, very comprehensive. So you're not getting a bunch of stuff secondhand. You're getting it from the principles involved. And I thought that was a very big thing there. The other thing I like about it is that it focuses on what you all were doing there as opposed to what comes later. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit here. But I want you to go ahead and tell everyone how exactly, give them the brief synopsis here of how exactly it is you started Eve After Dark and what were the reasons you wouldn't have done it?
Well, I started Eve After Dark, it was by accident, man, to tell you the truth. Like I said, I was a young DJ. I was 21 years old at the time, and I was probably the only DJ around for miles. I never saw any competition, man. I was working, doing clubs. I had a spot in Florida, California called Alpine Village. My partners and I, and then later on, me and another friend started doing parties there, and we just kind of outgrew it. And my dad came by the house one night where I lived at and saw me with a pile of money. He vowed if he ever suspected me of selling dope, he would personally kill me and turn me into the police. And I just had a great night at Alpine Village. And my old man came by to see what was happening. He verified that I was legit and was proud of me and referred me to his friend who had just built a banquet hall over his nightclub. And that was Eve After Dark. I walked into that building thinking I was going to rent that room every 2 weeks, once a month, like I was doing Eve After Alpine Village. And the old man told me if I want it, I got to take it every week. I didn't have the money for every week, but I had the heart, and I had a friend who had a few dollars, not a whole lot, but we had enough to get started, and that was the beginning of Eve After Dark, and that's what everything started right there, Doc.
Definitely, especially as young men. How old were you when you started that?
I cut the deal at 21. I opened it a week after my 22nd birthday.
And how the thing, when you started it and everything, I want, for everybody who doesn't know, because you told me about this before, I want you to go ahead and tell everybody the Cameo story, because I think that one in particular was a pivotal moment for you.
You know, Eve After Dark started off, although I had following from my other gigs, where Eve was located, it was kind of a rough neighborhood. And people were very resistant to come over there to see what I was doing. And about 5 months in, I was in a record pool at the time, and one of my partners asked me to come to take him picking some records. His car had broke down. I had a van. Hey man, come pick up these records. I'll take you to lunch. And every time we go to lunch, we're gonna spend $500-$600 even back then. So I take him to Century City, pick up the records, and while we're in the office of a very, very powerful record promotion guy, Gerald Busby, I'm on the 27th floor of the Century City office, and he asked my partner, hey, man, tells my partner, I got Cameo coming to town. They're going to be here Wednesday, but I need something to do on Thursday. I got stuff Friday and Saturday. Got something we can do. And I'm thinking like a kid. I eased my hand up to know the answer. I got a club. what club you got? I told him about my club, and my partner verified it. And he asked me, sitting right there, you want Cameo to come to your club? And at that time, that could be equated today for somebody said, you want Beyonce to come to your club? You want Drake to come to your club? I'm like, hell yeah. And so I did. He gave me Cameo. He paid limo out at everything. I went to my local radio station, which is K-Day, and I bought 10-second spots to promote Cameo. At that time, those live read commercials cost me $10 a piece. That was the best $100 I spent in all my life. And Cameo packed the eve out, and I believe people came out to see them. Because first of all, that was like one of the first times a group of that magnitude had come to their side of town. Second of all, if I was lying, they probably would have booked my ass. But because they gave me the promo material, they gave me album cover. They gave me what they call flats. On the flats, you can see Cameo at that time traveled with a full band, the horn section. They didn't send Larry Blackman or Nathan Lieutenant. They sent the horn section and the drummers. That was enough. The girls looked at the album cover. They looked at them and saw faces that was speaking the album cover. And I was the hero from that point on. And the Eve After Dark did not look back for almost 18 months. We were untouchable.
And I think that kind of thing was pivotal there because you were a young man basically promoting concerts at your club as a young fella doing that.
Yeah, that led me to bring in Curtis Blow a few months later, and then later Run DMC, and that's how World Class Record Crew got formed after being frustrated by Run DMC.
I want to come back to that there in just a moment, but I want to talk to you about your time promoting your own music. I want to go to Turn Out the Lights. And the reason I want to go to that is because you were basically putting out your own stuff at the time. And now I don't want to jump ahead here and everything, but who were you signed to as far as the label, as far as the distributor when you did that?
Well, I had my own label. There weren't a lot of people checking for West Coast hip hop in the very beginning, so we all had to become our own. Had to learn the game from the ground up. We were signed to Macola Records. I mean, that was our distributor. We were signed to Crew Cut, which is my label, and Macola was the local distributor for all up and coming hip hop labels at that time. And that was our guy. We later got a deal with CBS or Sony Epic, and we stayed there for about a year and came back to Macola, and that's when we dropped Turn Off the Lights.
Real quick about that, for example, we'll touch on this in the film as well there. When you were at CBS, what was the financial deal as far as them? Do you think it was fair? Do you think you all had a fair shake there, or was it the usual music industry thing?
Well, you know what? I think it was a fair shake for that time because we got the same deal that a lot of first-time artists got. We got $100,000, which was a lot of money, especially for a rap album. We didn't spend but about maybe $7,000 to $8,000 making the whole project. But they didn't know that. And because I had my own studio, I did a lot of my demo work in my home studio, and just went to the big studio and dropped the tracks and did all the mastering and mixing and mastering. But again, because we were on a major label with some of the hottest artists in the world, Vandross, Michael Jackson, Tina Marie, we kept getting pushed back, and that's where our problem came in at. Because whoever finished their album first would get our dates pushed back. Majors only release records on Tuesdays, and if they have so many records per month, if you are not one of the major artists, you can get bumped at any given time. We finished our album in January. We didn't get released until July. Everything we sang about was dead. That was the one thing about hip hop that we loved, being an independent. As soon as you had an idea, studio, the plating department, label, and you have a record in 10 days. Couldn't do that with a major. And that kind of killed our momentum.
Do you think that there was a matter of that they didn't yet understand how pivotal what you were doing was at the time there, or were they just used to the regular genres? They didn't really realize this was getting ready to blow up like that.
Exactly. They had no idea what they were doing with us. We were like the first rap group ever signed the Epic Records. Actually, they signed one of my other groups first, which is Stereo Group, which featured Ice Cube. But they only got a single deal. They gave us our first album deal. And they put us in the corporate machine. And the machine only could take so much at a time. And every time one of the big boys would drop a project, We got pushed further down the corporate machines and tested.
And the reason why that's important for me is because, like you were saying, I mean, back then, it's $100,000 was a great big amount of money. It still is today, as a matter of fact. But certainly for you as young men, you know, did you feel like you knew enough to be able to handle yourselves with a record deal at that time?
Hell no, we were crazy. We went absolutely nuts. I mean, I had money before. I was a little more used to having money by having a nightclub prior to that. I already had a house, had a car, but my guys, they've been buck wild. You know, they bought cars, cash, and they went to that money like maybe 6 to 8 weeks. They was broke again.
Age-old story.
Age-old story.
All right, let's go ahead and jump forward a little bit here. Now, you mentioned it in the trailer there. How did Dre end up at your club?
Well, Dre and I actually grew up on the same street. Oddly enough, we grew up on the same street. He's younger than I am, but I knew his uncle, I knew his dad, I knew his mom. They hung out with my older sister and my cousin. So I was familiar with them. I didn't hang with them, but they were older than me. I'm older than him. So it wasn't like we had a lot of interaction, but I was familiar with his family. So when he came to the club looking to get in, when he dropped his name, who his people was, I was familiar with him. And I gave him consideration because I did know his people. But he North Easy was dressed properly at that time. And I turned both of them away. And later on, Dre came back dressed like he was supposed to be. And I gave him a pass.
Because there's not that much age difference between you and Dre. I want to say it's like 5-6 years.
No, it's about 8.
Okay, it's about 8 years difference there. Certainly not 20 years difference and everything. So in the film Straight Outta Compton, they kind of make it seem like you're way older and whatnot. But in reality, you guys are pretty much peers at that point there, you know. So.
You know what? 8 years when you 27 or 28 and you talk to somebody who's 20, the mentality is it may not be a lot as you get older, but 20 versus 28 is a big difference. He's 20, he still can't drink. I didn't have drink, been drunk, owned houses. He still ain't left his mama's house. So once you get to like 32 versus 40, things kind of change a little bit. That ratio and the experiences kind of change. It does make a big difference. I'm 12 years old in Ice Cube. So when you talk about me in the Eve After Dark, I'm 22 and I open the Eve. Ice Cube is in the 5th grade. He's 10 years old. So these are the kind of some of the scenarios I'm dealing with.
Was Dre really as much of a wild man back then, or doing as many things back then as his stories say he was?
It's absolutely wild. He was crazy. He was a fun dude to hang out with. Loved women. Loved to hang out with. Loved to hang out. Period. He wasn't drinking. No alcohol. No weed. He just was a fun-loving dude. You know, we always had a good time. I mean, everybody did. None of us did drugs back then. Weed was not even heard of back then. I mean, it was, of course, it was around, but it was never in my studio. Never in my studio sessions. No alcohol. We all were on a natural high. I probably was the only one that did any drinking. I never drank with any of them. It was, again, because of my age difference, I had a different concept of dealing with them. And I treated them more like my nephews more than I did my peers. So I didn't do a lot of stuff. They didn't see me do a lot of things that I did, or nor they were included.
I got to ask about one person in particular, Ren. It seems that Ren doesn't get mentioned nearly as much nowadays as the others do. What was your interaction with him?
You know what? It's funny you should ask me that. I was with Ren last month. They got the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammy Museum at the Grammys. And I asked Ren, I said, Ren, was you at my house? They said, yeah, oh yeah, I was there all the time, but easy. But Ren didn't do anything crazy to stand out. You know, most of those guys were very quiet individuals. Hugh was probably the most vocal cat around. Dre was fun, but if there was people they didn't know, yelling, all of them, they were shut down. So Ren was one of those guys. He would come in and get him a corner, get a seat, and just do what he had to do. He wasn't a troublemaker. He never did anything stupid. I can't recall any stories that would make him stand out at that time. But he said he was here. If he says he was here, I got to roll with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much his personality. He's probably the most laid back one of the whole group there.
Even right now, nobody sees it. You know, I see him. I want him to do my podcast. I don't do podcasts. Don't take it personal. Hey, man, I can't. You don't do nobody's podcast, so I can't get mad at you.
Moving forward here, you got Dre there. I think Yella got at the club before Dre did.
Yeah.
And were they business minded back then? Did they have higher aspirations, or were they just happy being DJs?
Hell no, they were just glad to be playing records and get laid on a regular basis. That was kind of the motivation back then. Money was secondary. Girls were primary.
Sounds like a bunch of 20-somethings.
Hey, okay. Again, I'm the only one. I had a house at 19. I got my first pad and I was 19 years old. So I bought cars, I had a kid, so I had a whole different mentality. They had none of that stuff. They were still living with their mom, so they didn't have the same responsibilities that I had. And they enjoyed their irresponsible years.
Okay, since we're here, I'll go ahead and let you tell it live here since you told me there before. There were a bunch of numbers that went around by the time Easy shows up and he says he wants to make this deal with Jerry Heller. How much did Easy give you before you agreed to give him the information for Jerry Heller?
When Dre went to jail, as y'all all saw straight out of the country, he cut a deal with Easy to make demos for his new forming record company. It wasn't even named Ruthless Records yet. And in doing that, like I told Dre, he can use the drum machines to make beats. When he started pushing record on any of my recorders, I got to get paid. Studio time was $25 back then. And Easy had racked up about $500 with the studio time. Easy being a street pharmaceutical engineer from back in the day, he treated everybody like a patient. He only would give you $20 here, $15. I don't like getting paid. Like, give me my money. So when he finally got the urge that he wanted to meet Jerry Heller, I was the only plug to get to Jerry Heller, and he offered to pay me what he owed me to get to Jerry Heller. By this time, I'm like, hell no. Ray, give me some incentive. What you owe me is not incentive. So he gave me another $250. Hey man, what if I give you another $250 to make it happen? Would that be cool? I'm like, that'll work. That's what I did. He gave me $750, but it wasn't so much just to meet Jerry Heller. It was already a debt that was being paid with a bonus if I can get to Jerry Heller, get in to meet Jerry Heller.
What were your impressions of Jerry Heller? Because a lot's been said about him over the decades. What your perspective of Jerry Heller is?
Jerry Heller was a businessman. He understood the entertainment business. He understood artists. He knew that certain things were never taught to us. And if you didn't find out on your own, he wasn't going to tell you. Okay? He was not a bad guy, but he was of the average mindset of that era of music. You have never met an artist that's ever been happy with their record label. And for whatever reason, that persona has always been a part of the record industry. Most artists are creative people. That's why they have to have managers to manage their affairs, but hopefully them not be taken advantage of. Jerry Heller understood how artists think, and he knew some money would get them to perform, especially if you never had any money or used to have a little money. So the money we made as a world-class record crew was cool, but NWA made a whole lot more. But again, if I'm giving you $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, you never had $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 before, but I'm really owing you $150,000, $200,000, you might not question it because you never had this before. And based on your lifestyle or your experiences, this could be, sufficient. You're not going to ask any questions, and it happens all the time. This is not a new phenomenon in the music industry where artists will get a Cadillac or some shoes or some diamonds or a watch in lieu of signing the contract. They gave away all the rights, the long-term rights away. So this is kind of what happened in the group with that situation. And because Jerry was working for Eric, he made sure that Eric got as much money as possible so he could get his 20%, which could be as much as possible. And then he also taxed them 20% for being the manager. So it it was some double dipping going on, and it's not illegal, but it's frowned upon. Put it that way.
Okay, then let's just lay it on the bricks here. Do you feel that what they said is correct, that they got cheated on their deal?
Well, put it right here. Like Jerry always said, if I cheated anybody, I never got sued. Bottom line is, no matter how bad a contract is, if you sign it, it's legitimate. Whether it's a credit card contract or a mortgage deal that makes you pay a house note for 30 years, or a credit card that makes you pay 40% interest on a credit card. If you sign it, it ain't illegal. And that's the part people keep forgetting. People, when you are in a contract situation, you're at an adversary situation, and somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. And if you don't have the legal representation or the business wherewithal to break, it's like playing like arm wrestling. If you can't bend the contract to your favor, at least keep it even. That's not my problem. If I grab your hand and you just fold automatically and I win, and the deal is totally in my favor, so be it. You signed it. That's the deal. And that's what happens in both situations. A lot of artists get blinded by the potential, the possibility of being a celebrity. They're living that lifestyle, the little bit of money up they get up front. They never had anything. So Jerry understood that, and he took advantage of it.
Did they speak to you about that? Did any of them talk to you about their contract, or were you all not in a good space to do that?
I was the first one that they kind of isolated. Jerry kind of isolated from the rest of the fellas, because he knew I knew better. So I was around, but I wasn't. When they became NWA, I was totally what they call excommunicated. Okay, because I knew better. By the time they did NWA, I'd been in business six years already. They had 3 nightclubs, so I knew putting somebody's name on my bank account was not a good idea. I knew I could understood percentages. When I did my CBS deal, Jerry was around and was trying to be my manager, but I wouldn't sign with him because I understood if the deal was already given to us. I didn't need a manager to go get me a deal. They came looking for us, so to sign with him as a manager would have cost me $20,000. So I did not let him make that $20,000. Which may have cost me on some ways, but again, it also let him realize I'm not stupid. I don't need you to negotiate for me because I got a lawyer that does it anyway. All the manager does, if he don't get you the record deal, all he is a messenger. I don't need a $20,000 messenger. So I bought a cell phone, had a direct contact with my lawyer, and between he and I, we cut the record deal. He gave me the advice I needed. And I learned the record business through him. And it cost me $7,500 as opposed to $27,500.
That's always astounded me as well, because over the years, you'd figure after the ink spots or whoever, that we wouldn't have, everybody would go in that situation. Although these were teenagers, or at least young 20-somethings there. So it's real easy to take advantage of those circumstances, but nobody discussed with them having a lawyer or any of those things.
Hey, you know what? I tell a story all the time. When you get a contract when you're a youngster, they give you a contract about that thick, about 40 pages, maybe 42 pages. And when it comes time to do the deal, they put the check on top of the contract in your name. So you see this check, $75,000, $80,000 with your name on it, you ain't reading none of the 40 pages. All you're going to do is sign the last 2. And you're going to initial what has to be initial. Most people don't think about that. Q was the only one that realized I got to read these 40 pages before I signed on this 41st. Everybody else got blinded by the light of the check. Q didn't do that. He went on and hey, man, this ain't right. I can't sign this. I'm stepping off. Everybody got to took the check, left anyway. But they left mad, they left broke. Didn't get no publishing, didn't get no writers, didn't get none of the things they were entitled to being a part of the situation.
This will be a painful subject here, but I feel I got to ask this question. I didn't ask you this before. Alonzo, in retrospect, if it could be done all over again, what should they have done when they formed NWA before signing that contract with Jerry Heller to make things turn out the way it should have been?
Well, the first thing they should have did was stick to their original plan was to make NWA owned by all four members. That was the first plan. Rufus Records was supposed to be a collaborative between all of them. Dre was going Easy putting up the money, Dre doing the beats, him and Yellow doing the beats, Ren and Cube Wright. It was all supposed to own Rufus Records. That was the plan. When Jerry came in, he made them all the employees, including Dre, and that pissed everybody off. If I'm mistaken, Dre got $100,000, but he had to produce 5 albums for that $100,000. Now again, $100,000 is a lot of damn money, but you take it and spread over 5 albums, that's $20,000 an album. That ain't no money. Again, you put the numbers game. So but here's the problem with most young artists. They're not gonna listen to you right away. They ain't gonna pay you no attention as long as they got something shiny around on their wrist, on their fingers, on their wrist. Not gonna pay you no attention. They're driving a nice car or got a nice ring on, nice watches. They're not gonna pay you no attention. They'll sign whatever they want, whatever they put in front of them to get them on the contract. Then they get mad. All that stuff goes away. They look up. They my age, ain't got no publishing, ain't got no writers, ain't nothing coming in no more. I still all my publishing. I still own my masters right to this day. Okay, that those licensing deals and all those deals subsidize my income right to this day.
Okay, let me ask you about that. When you got these people who've been in the music industry for decades and they're seasoned individuals and they know the tricks of the trade and whatnot, in your opinion, do you think that they target individuals who may be either more naive or less suspecting if they think they can swing a better deal for themselves on the corporate side versus trying to sign somebody who is a little more savvy and you wouldn't be able to sign as much of a deal even if they're more talented?
They love young, dumb kids. Record industry loves, think about this. Not very many new artists, coming to the game 35, 40 years old. It's happened. I'm quite sure it has happened.
That's rare.
It's rare, okay? They love them young and dumb. One, your responsibility factor is minimal. Two, you don't know nothing. I can mold you to be anything I want you to be, okay? Number three, the money you're getting, you never had it before, and you'll do anything to keep it. Whether it be, that's when you get this Illuminati kind of stuff, Illuminati activity that you hear about. How bad do you want it? You ready to go in the room with him privately, or whatever the case may be? That's how you get them Puffy stories. That's how you get them all these R. Kelly stories. What are you willing to do what are you willing to do to get here? Or in some cases, what are you willing to do to stay here? They only do that to the young and dumb. Okay? Because a grown man, you better get out of here, give me my money, let me up out of here. I'm not doing that. And that's where that's the difference comes in. That's why guys like me end up, on the outside looking in, because some things I'm not going to do.
Or you were too smart too soon and couldn't be gotten over on, and they would rather target somebody they can make an easy dollar off of than somebody they got to pay a fair amount of it.
Exactly.
Now I want to move forward a little bit here. I know I'm kind of jumping around for everybody else out there. I want to move forward a little bit here. I want you to tell us about when you get to the end of Eve After Dark's original incarnation there. I want you to tell everybody what business was like and then what exactly led to it getting shut down.
Business was really good around that time, man. He was really cracking. And from day one, from the inception of Eve After Dark, the owner of the building, because he had another club downstairs for adults, didn't want anything to interfere our business upstairs, interfere with this business downstairs. And we had some rules I had to abide by, and one of them was no drugs. And my security guards was pretty good about keeping the drug dealers out of the club. And we had to call the cops maybe 2 or 3 times a weekend just to get rid of guys selling dope. We didn't just take the dope. We called the police. We let it be known this ain't the place to sell no dope at. And eventually, I got into it with a cop who was trying to get me to get him some favors for doing his job. And that was kind of the demise, man. He put me on this. He put a target on my back and a target on Eve After Dark, and we must have been open till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning closing at 1 o'clock like everybody else, although we didn't have a liquor license, and we were the county of LA versus the city of LA. And that forced us to move through those. But Eve was a great venue for a long time. And like I said, man, we'd be open at 5, sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning because we had everybody's after party. That was our niche. You could party at Eve or you could party someplace else. On the way home, stop by and keep getting your party on because we played music till 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, depending on what was going on.
Now, the reason why I bring that up is because if you watch the documentary, for everyone here, if you watch the documentary here, Uncle Jam's Army, we won't touch on it too much there, but you all had a rivalry going on there at the time and whatnot. We had about the club thing going on there, but I think all of y'all were doing pretty decent numbers at that time.
You know what? It all depends on how you like your numbers. You like your numbers in one lump sum, divided over a period of time. That's fine. You like your numbers big every week. Then that's everybody got a different business model. And my business model has always been consistency, man. I like my money every week. If I'm getting $4 or $5 grand a week for my little club, as opposed to getting 40, 50,000 every once or twice a month, once every 6 months, or once every 3 or 4 months. That's people got different ways of looking at their money, and I like consistency. Plus, even if you do your supposed to be in the dance, I'm gonna do the after party. I'm still gonna make money off the after party. So I don't care what you do, and that was always my philosophy, and that created a lot of rivalry because a lot of people said, "Well, man, you do an after party, I should get a cut." Why? I'm here every night, no matter what. Whether you do an after party or not, I'm gonna be here. I'm not giving you nothing. You're not gonna advertise for me, so why should I give you anything? So it made me kind of a hated guy, but
Well, my thing about it though is that you all were young black men. You had these businesses; they were doing very well at the time, and I'm just noticing here that if you hadn't been interfered with in that way, because people think about that in the South, but they don't think about California as a place where that kind of thing was happening. And if you had not been interfered with, it just has shades of Nipsey Hussle. Every time somebody gets prominent in that regard, they send the police in particular to come mess with them. And where would you all be today if that hadn't been occurring? That's a question I think everybody wants to ask themselves when they watch this film.
Well, you know what? It's probably not in the film, but there was another element that was causing more havoc to the police, and that was the gang factor. When the E first opened in 1979, gangs were the major factor. Although we've always had gangs in Compton, LA, whatever the case may be, but the gang ratio to civilian ratio was like 10% gangster, 90% civilian. By the time 85, 86, that ratio had flipped tremendously. And I use this scenario, this comparison all the time. And I tell people, go look at a house party. That was the Eve after dark. Okay? Then you go look at Boys in the Hood, and that's what the streets became shortly after that. And you got people dancing in suits and no socks on and hard-soled shoes and geometric haircuts. And girls, got their routines. That's Eve after dark all day long. But the next year, when the drugs hit the street and gangs got more powerful and influential, you got everybody walking around in Raider gear, black tennis shoes, black jeans and tennis shoes and Raider gear, and it was no longer about the party. It was all about, who could you beat up at the party? It wasn't about dancing. It's the same thing happened to the music, man. As world-class record crew, I ain't never made a record to impress no other man in my life. I was not trying to be a lyricist to be compared to Rakim or Eminem or anybody else, although Rakim was around, Eminem wasn't around. My only person I was trying to impress was people that wanted to have a good time or a female. We were a dance and romance group. We were not trying to be the hardest lyricists. We want to have some funky beats and some smooth lyrics. That was it. And after a while, it became, well, how hard can you be? I ain't never tried to be no hard dude, man. That was never world class record crew motivation, and that became the motivation of the streets. It kind of changed everything. Even if you think about this, think about the late 80s, early 90s. After the Step to Me record crew and Luke did, the next hottest genre of music was New Jack. And New Jack was nothing but some fun music, man. Come on, dude. New Jack ain't nothing gangster about no New Jack. But gangster rap killed all that shit.
I guess the next question would be here is, do you think that was intentional?
You know, man, when you sit back and you think about prison industrial complex, the legalization of, well, I don't think legalization of drugs, and how certain pharmaceutical drugs have become very fluent in the streets, how folks are making so much money off of arresting people as opposed to treating them, how in the 80s, there was a black movement, a black power movement through the music that was really prominent, man, through the 80s, through Poor Righteous Teachers and X-Plan and Public Enemy. All of a sudden, all that got derailed, and we became haters of ourselves. It's hard to think it wasn't a plan, especially when you see where we are right now. You see where we are right now. We are in the. I've never been around so much self-hate music in all my life, and now finally they found a way to get to the females, and females who are so-called stars of hip hop these days. If a man was saying the same thing, they get canceled. Here we are in the age of cancel culture, and things are so segregated that some things make you a superstar on one side and will get you canceled on the other. Think about that for a second.
Well, you know, like I say, I've been telling people for years now that the so-called love songs, we used to have love songs. Today, the females in particular, the female artists are making hate songs. There's none of their music about the man they love. Everything's about this fella done did me wrong and terrible and wishing hell on him.
No, Mary J. Blige is the queen of broken-hearted sisters, okay? But she still give her brother a break every once in a while, okay?
Yeah, every other minute.
She is the queen of give me some wine. Let me tell you about my dude. Okay, record, broken hearted record. But every once in a while, she find a guy she like on the record. These dudes, the female rappers, they have nothing to offer, man. But physical. I'm trying to be nice as possible, man. But physical interaction, and anybody with any sense knows that once that physical interaction is gone, you ain't got much left. You got to bring something else to the table other than an attitude and feet under the table.
Now, this will be something I'm going to deal with in the documentary in more detail. But the reason why I want to speak to you originally was because I grew up in the era, and I'm from Louisiana, but we heard all the stories from Eazy-E to Too Short to Rob Bass or whoever else you name. These brothers who were out there making a name for themselves and selling their albums out of the trunk of their car. And that was how they did it. From the street level. They didn't have an internet to go on. They didn't have big connections, but they were doing it on their own on a shoestring budget, but they were getting their stuff out there. You've got more quality equipment in your Apple laptop than Michael Jackson did when he recorded Thriller. That's what folks have today. So I want to ask Alonzo Williams, as somebody who's been in the music business for a long time. He's made his own stuff. He's produced his own stuff. He knows it from the top to the bottom here. If you were 18 years old today, in the era of Instagram, Snapchat, and everything else, with all the tools that are available to the average 18-year-old today, and they were considering getting into the music business, what would you do today?
Man, I would purchase Ableton with all the plug-ins, and dude, I would have the damn orchestra behind my hip hop, dude. I would probably be Barry White or Isaac Hayes of hip hop. These youngsters, like you just said, man, they have more sound opportunities in a laptop than we had with a whole Fairlight system. A Fairlight system back in the day was like the epitome of musical instruments. It was a huge. You had to have a room for a Fairlight system and an air conditioning system, and all it was a big sampler that produced all kinds of sound. Okay, but you get that nowadays in a laptop. And all you hear nowadays is keyboards, claps, hi-hats. You don't get nothing else. You can, with the plugins that Ableton and all these other Fruity Loops, so whatever else has to offer, you can create an orchestra, man. You can be who you want, whoever you want to be. You can do so much more, but it takes a little time to learn that, and everybody's in a hurry. Nobody wants to take time to do what they call woodshedding. Woodshedding is when you just sit, get into your studio, your bedroom, and you grind out you a new sound, okay? And you perfect that sound. You can test it on the internet for free. I mean, come on, man. To test the record, we had to get some cassettes at least. Test a 12-inch, we had to go spend at least $400 to $500, get it pressed up to see if it's going to flop or not. So now you can do all that with a digital file. Dude, it's amazing that they don't take advantage of none of the stuff they have, none of the plugins, none of the program. I go to NAM every year, dude, and there's so much being offered out there, but people want to stay with the same 808. I had that, maybe a little keyboard,
and a thunderous bass line, just an absolute. Now they pioneered new forms of bass, but everything else is falling by the wayside.
Yeah, everything else is kicking the curve, man. The horn, the oboe, the stuff that can make a song really stand out, that's going to separate you from the crowd. And that's the problem I see. I've always seen the same problem. I remember a guy was doing a showcase one time. I was on a panel, and this guy was, man, yeah, I'm almost like LL Cool J. I'm a little different. He rolled up his left leg, I roll up my right leg. I turn my head. That don't mean shit to nobody but you. You're trying to imitate LL Cool J. How do you expect to be discovered, especially nowadays? It's estimated that 20,000, 30,000 songs a week is uploaded to various platforms. How do you expect to stand out like everybody else? How do you expect to do that? All you want to do is duplicate what somebody else has done. So then, even if you get some recognition, it's so short-lived that it don't have no lifespan to it. It's the same thing regurgitated. Your girl, Sexy Red, I look at her stuff. That stuff, her material is not even a good demo, man. It's not even a good demo, okay? But people, that's become the standard. So everybody got this choppy, unprofessional sound to them, and it has no production value whatsoever. And if it comes in, it goes out. Comes in, it goes out. I don't see maybe I'm wrong. I don't see a lot of longevity in that type of thing.
I mean, this stuff today here that you just summed up beautifully there. That barely would have been a demo tape back in the day, and it would have been one we would have threw out. Now they're getting record deals for it. So I think it's, in my opinion, this is just me talking, I think it's more of the iteration of find them dumb, find them not really severely talented or capable. Somebody else will give them the damn song. And then we just go ahead and ride off with the money and rinse and repeat. Go grab somebody else. Once they can only make a one-hit wonder, cannot come back and sue you for publishing the masters. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But you touched on a good thing right there. Okay, if that's what it takes on the production side of it, Alonzo Williams is 18 years old today. With all the social media and all the other tools at his disposal here, how does Alonzo Williams promote? He's got the song and the album made. How does he promote himself in the 21st century as an 18-year-old?
Man, Alonzo Williams has to buy get some money, buy some ads, or some Instagram ads, buy some YouTube ads, get your video out there, and come out creative, man. Do something ain't nobody else doing right now. Come up with something. People ask me this all the time, man. I just had a meeting with the guys the other day. They want me to help them to blow up a third part in town. I'm like, dude, you can't expect people to blow you up. You're doing the same thing everybody else does. So you have to find you a lane ain't nobody else in. Now, here's your problem. Most of the lanes that are active right now or full are based on no talent. Okay, they're based on some book, something people are saying that's catchy today, for lack of a good reference, Tatiana, fuck my baby daddy, baby daddy ain't shit. That's simple shit like that. People get emotional behind that. But we got a world that's changing every day, and nobody talks about that, man. Nobody talks about what's really going on. And maybe because they don't know, they don't care, but they may want to do a little woodshedding and doing some studying, and then figuring out a lane that can make you stand out. And again, you ain't got to stand out to everybody, just stand out to certain people. And that's how you find your way to the top. Okay? If you want to talk about peace in the streets or peace in the world, let that be your lane. Somebody's gonna like that because everybody's not into war. Everybody's not into destruction. Everybody's not into drugs. Everybody's not into the political system. Find you a lane and make it work for you. And that's how you do it these days.
Yeah, because, with all the talk about druggy rap and thotting it up and whatnot, the issue is, okay, that's cool and everything sometimes, I suppose, to be rapping about partying. But what if my life isn't a party right now? That's not going to resonate with me. What if I'm not thotting it up right now? That's not going to resonate with me.
As many people go to college and put work in, pass classes and courses, get degrees. I ain't heard a record yet about celebrating getting a degree. I ain't never heard one about giving somebody motivation to pull that all-nighter to get that test, pass that final in the morning. You partied all weekend, you partied when you shouldn't have. Now you got a final. Now I got to stay up all night to make this happen. This is a way to do that. And guess what? People gonna relate to that stuff, man. People will relate to that because they had to do it. Understand the music. Everybody has experience of life, and what a good artist does is find him a group of people that share a lot of the same experience. That's why records like Police was successful, because the guys were going through that. That's why so many records blow up. Even like the record with Pharrell made, and people just wanted to feel good for a while, man. People just wanted to feel good. That record made you feel good. So you find you a lane, you find you something that's really about you, and you rock with that to the best of your ability. No, everybody ain't gonna love you. You'll find you enough people that will, and that's how you eat for a long time.
Let me ask you the big question here then. All right, you've explained all that to us here. There's only one element that's missing based on your breadth of experience and knowledge here. If you were a young 18-year-old independent artist looking to bring their work to market, ballpark, about how much do you think it would cost that they would need to pay to be able to do that?
You know what? That's a good question. The economics of the music industry has changed so much that now $500 will get you a whole lot of advertising on Instagram. Get you started, and you can't cover the whole country. Even when I was an independent, I had to go in regions, and that's one thing I can say about the social media. You can buy you a region at a time. You can't buy the whole country. So for example, Wrecking Crew, we had a great connection with K-Day, so we would get a lot of love from K-Day. But we wouldn't get no love again until we got to Texas. It wasn't nobody playing in Arizona, Nevada. We would get love in Texas. We would get love in Mississippi and Louisiana, and we would grow from there. So find you an area that your music is attractive to, market to that area, visit that area, and work that area, and then keep on going. Next, my former manager, his name was Swamp Dog. I just spent out last weekend. I was with him down in South by Southwest Film Festival, and I was with him. He told me, he says, when I first met him, he said, I'm an artist. Okay, my name is Swamp Dog, and I sell about back then I sell about 30,000 albums a year. Okay, and that time the album was maybe 7, 8 bucks. So you got 30,000 times 7. That may be $210,000. I do gigs. Most of my gigs are the other side of the Mississippi River, but I'm getting $2,500 to $5,000 a weekend. And I work 6 months out the year. That's about 26 weekends. So if you take the break it down like that, you pay $5,000 a weekend times 20, that's another $100,000. So you're making about $300,000 a year, and you don't know who the hell he is. And that's the problem with most artists. They want to be the next Cardi B. They want to be the next Drake. You ain't got to be Drake to get paid. It's a whole lot of people between Drake and broke. And that's where the mistake comes in, that you can gig. If you got a good show that's saying something, you can get on all kinds of shows, man. Club to book you all the time. The problem is a lot of guys can't work because the materials are so much. You can play some hip hop club, but you playing for your life. You probably run out there fighting for your life every damn night because you're talking too much stuff or you riling the crowd up, or you're trying to appeal to some gangsters that are going, if you're appealing to gangsters, all gangsters got ops. So if you're trying to appeal to the Bloods, you can't play in Crip Club, okay? And you can't play in Crip Affiliate Club. But if you're talking about something that's universal, that don't put you in any specific lane or any particular in the target and the crosshairs between any particular game, now you can make some money, man. And again, people always get stuck on America. Shit, America don't buy as many records as England, Japan, Germany. What about partners? Egyptian Lover, he stays overseas. He do a few gigs in LA, but for the most part, all this money comes from overseas. You'll be a bigger star overseas you ever will be in the United States. That's just how the game goes, man. So there's a lot of different ways to blow up. Again, everybody wants to be loved at home first. Home don't give a damn about you, okay? Home don't care about you till you blow up. They ain't gonna help you blow up. Home ain't gonna help you blow up. Nope, ain't gonna do it.
Teddy said something similar to that when I talked to Teddy. He said the same thing.
Home ain't gonna help you blow up. Home will love you or want to tax you for blowing up, but they ain't gonna love you. They ain't gonna help you blow up. Because everybody know you. They want free records. They want free downloads. They want free T-shirts. They want to come to the concert, free watch, because they all know you. They think you own something.
This sounds like being a bar owner.
Huh?
This sounds like if you own a bar and your friends show up, they all want to drink for free.
Dude, I've been running clubs forever. And that's exactly what happened. And my real friends, they won't tell me they showing up. They come up, they bring a party with them. Hey, man, I look up, they in the club. I mean, I brought some folks to work down to the club. Why you tell me? I let y'all there. I mean, I got to support my brother. And they won't let me buy. They'll buy around first. Then I can buy them around. But your bum buddies, oh man, can you get? I got me and my partners in. Can you get a drink free? I mean, can I get a drink? Well, no. But now you costing me money to be in the building. You're taking up space, people. You're taking up space for people that's paying. Dude, I fed out with many of so-called friends. Hey man, I got to pay rent. When I went to the liquor store, the liquor distributor this morning, I went to the friend section. They was fresh out of liquor, dude. Everything else I had to pay for. That means you do too. Oh man, it sure is cold. Hey, bro, you need to stay home and get your body and go back to bed. And that's where you fall out with something. Oh, he think dude. I know I got to buy so much liquor per month. I got spillage. I got all kind of factors that's already built into my loss factor. I can't do a lot of homie drinking, especially if you bring no value to the club.
I want to ask you one more thing here, and then we're going to let you go because this has just been very enlightening. Nowadays, I think one of the things that's caught people up the most in the music business is everybody can rap, or at least you said they're artists, and artists typically want to focus on their art. They don't want to focus on touring. They don't want to focus on appearances. They really just want to focus on that and whatever they do in between doing that. One of the things that tends to fall by the wayside is, for example, live appearances, putting on their own shows or whatever. I'm talking about as an independent. I think a lot of these folks chase a record deal because they can wrap their heads around, or at least they think they're outsourcing that to somebody else. Let them take my album sales will pay my bills. And if I do need to make live appearances, the record label will take care of scheduling or setting up all that. And I don't have to. Do you think that that's a shortcoming for modern artists or people trying to get in the business today, is that they decrease the value of that?
That is the stupidest thing anybody not get.
Okay, get a little closer, Alonzo. I didn't hear you.
Stupidest thing you can do is not want to tour or do live performances. Live performances has multiple streams of income. Okay, you get paid for doing the gig. All right, you got T-shirts, any kind of merch. You sell your merchandise. All right, some people charge for pictures. That's another revenue stream. Some people charge for making appearances at other clubs. Yeah, I did a concert over here, but I'm going over here to the after party. I'm gonna get another $500,000, depending who the artist is. So you missing out on all types of all other streams, avenue streams, all other streams of revenue by trying to be some type of studio artist and it don't pay like that, dude. So you missing money, especially if somebody isn't paying for the transportation. Usually, when you do a show, the promoter's gonna pay you to show up, pay for your transportation, and your room, okay, and your food most of the time. All right. So you get that money from the gig. You bring any product, which is some t-shirts, whatever case, you'll sell a couple of them. As a person who hasn't made a new record in almost 40 years, I still sell t-shirts to World Class Record Crew. I still sell books. I have a comic book. I sell my comic book. So it's all kind of ways to generate money once you establish yourself. So not to take advantage of that is just a major shortcut.
For those of you who do not know him, this is Alonzo Williams, and you can just he's the catalyst behind NWA, and he stands behind those initials because it is not without Alonzo. He has a documentary on Amazon called Eve After Dark. I recommend it to you all. I think it's required viewing. It gives you a real insight into what was happening in Los Angeles for them at that time. They go through an exhaustive amount to give you the feel of it and the atmosphere of it. Oh, we got to see your fairy godmother. By the way, you and I talked about her. I got to finally see her. So that was good to be able to see that as well. I think it's exceptionally educational here. But I want you to also tell, I don't want to blow the lid on anything here, but do you have anything coming after this documentary?
Hell yes. My next documentary, my current documentary, well, I have two more documentaries in the process right now. One is in the final stages of final cut. It's called NWA, Now Without a Mind. And this focuses on my career, the personal standpoint, who I'm connected to, how I'm connected to him, and why I'm known as the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. And my third documentary will be about the creation of Easy Street, called The Road to Easy Street. Currently, I'm the president of the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce, and last year, I was able to convince the city of Compton to rename the street after Easy E. And they did it, and I shot the whole process and I created a documentary called Road to Easy Street. So all these things are in the process. You can find my Eve After Dark documentary on Amazon, YouTube Premium, and Tubi probably in April. And the Eve After Dark documentary will be premiered in various film festivals starting in May. So we staying busy, folks. And last but not least, Eve After Dark is coming back.
There's a historical footnote there as well. So I think all of y'all out there in LA need to keep an eye open for that. The reason why I wanted to touch on that here for the audience is because I saw the film there, and that was one of the things I discussed with Alonzo before, is it touched on the Super Bowl, but the film is actually about the club itself. It does put a little bit of reference where, as far as Dre and Easy and NWA, it was a little reference there. But at the end of it, I really like the fact that it focused on your experience on the club itself that started these things. And now to know this is a series here, so you're basically giving them each their own individual segment. I think this is going to be a list of required watching in this part, especially if you do as good a job on these others as you did in the first one. I think it's going to give a comprehensive view of this.
I got the same editors, same producers. I love the way they did the Eve After Dark documentary. In fact, we had another cut for the NWA documentary. He gave it to the my Eve producer and editor, and he gave it the same flavor, if not more. But this one right here, it's hilarious, it's informational, and that's been one of my things. I'm what they call an infotainer. I can tell you a true story, but make it entertaining enough where you ain't going to turn away. And that's what you're going to get from Eve After Dark and from NWA.
Well, everyone here, like I say, definitely from the moment you told me about it, I went and looked it up. I didn't know what to expect when I saw it, but I really got to tell you, especially for those of you who are younger, you were 80s babies, this is an excellent thing to watch to give you a real idea of the feel of what we were doing and what we were making happen and how we were making it happening at that time that created this global renaissance that you call rap and hip hop today. fellas like Alonzo Williams, that's how you got there. So if you want to know how he did it and his story, especially when they talk about your father, by the way, you want to know him and his story, I think that this is absolutely required reading. I think you've heard about Easy and Dre and the rest of them. Now see how it started. See where it really came from. Alonzo, I want to thank you very much for your time on this. When I do have my screening in Los Angeles, you are definitely invited. And I want everybody to come see your film, all of them, by the same token here.
Love, appreciate you, Doc.
Thank you for your time, sir.
All right, folks, y'all be good. Peace.
That really says it all. And I mean that. There are folks that you talk to, you interview, and they tell you things about themselves. How many times do you get to talk to somebody and you have an interview where they tell you what you can do for yourself? Let me be very, very clear about what I'm about to say here next. Michael Jackson's father understood what Alonzo was just talking about. Beyonce Knowles' father understood what Alonzo was just talking about. These were people who understood the business. They understood the studio. Dick Griffey understood what Alonzo was talking about. So just in case you're telling yourself, well, what does that have to do with me? Many of you listen to me right now. You have children and you are waiting for white people to capitalize on their talent. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You want to talk about the biggest rap group in history. Okay, you want to talk about NWA. But by the way, I just want to take a moment here to remind you that many of you, you've got children. Well, guess what? You are waiting for white folk to capitalize on your children's talent. You got sons and daughters. They can sing, they can dance, they can perform. And yet you are going to do what they did and outsource it to somebody else. And then when everything gets took, then there will be much weeping and gnashing of teeth. So the reason why I was trying to drill this interview through your heads is because for those of you who got kids, you're talking about a high school talent show. Meanwhile, your white kids are not worried about a high school talent show. How many high school talent shows did Taylor Swift have to do? Not beating up on Taylor. Taylor is cool. Don't get me wrong. She hasn't done anything wrong to anybody. But I just want to say, how many high school talent shows did Iggy Azalea have to do? Let me just keep it real. Tell me the ranks they had to come up through, because I can show you these brothers, they had to sell tapes out the trunks of their car. There's nothing more direct to consumer, DTC, than selling tapes and CDs out the trunk of your car. Your children's competition at their schools or on the other side of town from their school ain't having to do the same thing. And what I'm saying is, so are you going to sit here and watch your children with their talent and their abilities and just watch it wither on the vine? Because you had a lack of vision. I think that's criminal. You can complain about the sexy reds all you want to. Most of us do. But that white fella in the video, if that's him, he saw something and said, here, let me throw 10 funky dollars at it. Meanwhile, what about your kids? Or what about the kid across the street? What about your kids, or what about the kid across the street? What are you doing with them? Matthew Knowles didn't just grab his daughter. He grabbed a group of girls, remember? And for better or worse, whether we talk about LaToya or whoever, for better or worse, Beyonce is not the only one who benefited from Destiny's Child. Even the members who got up and left have still had something of a music career of their own, even without Beyonce, even without Matthew Knowles. But they wouldn't have gotten there without Matthew taking out the time to learn that business and learn how to get his own daughter on. So I held this interview tonight here way before the internet age. You've got so much help. You got so many advantages over what they had back then in 1979 and 1985. Hell, you got advantages over what Death Row Records was doing back in the early 90s. Your children got that today. You're complaining about the rappers that are out there. How about your kids? How about your nephew? How about the kid across the street? How about your niece? How about your daughter? How about them? How about them? So what you just got tonight was our crash course in being in the independent music business. And that was just what we have right here. Now imagine some of the other things that I was able to add to this, because that's just what you were getting just off of this one alone. How about some of the others?
We've grown up in a sea of white supremacy. I think that what slavery did for us is it created this sense that the white man's ice is colder and that we want to have a seat at that table and not a seat at our own table.
At LSU, we never had a conversation about the business of sports, about the money that's made. They don't want to have that conversation because you have that conversation, that's what creates movements.
Most people are miserable. They're depressed. They hate their life. Why do people hate their life? Because they're doing things they hate. Because they feel like they're scared they can't pay a bill.
George Soros probably said it the best, and he said that when he was broke, nobody listened to him, but when he broke the banks over in Europe, he was able to start talking to the heads of state.
Are you listening? Is this thing on?
Let me tell you about the record industry. You walk into a major company, they got some of the prettiest women. You want some Perrier, you want some water. What do you need? Once they got you, stuff just like that. What have you done for me lately?
A lot of those athletes in college, 99% of them will not make it to that high level NBA, WNBA, NFL.
If an artist is not a puppet, he's not going to be pulled to the top. It's the bottom line.
Friends is friends and business is business. Never intertwining.
If you like the questions that you heard me asking tonight, the level of depth and insight and detail, that's what we got from Alonzo Williams. Now imagine me asking those questions to Teddy Riley, asking those questions to Jadakiss, asking those questions to Dame Dash, asking those questions to Virgil Roberts from Solar Records. Now imagine the interview you just heard tonight conducted by Jason Black to those luminaries. Well, you don't have to imagine it anymore. It's coming. I did this documentary specifically with your children, your friends, your nieces, your nephews, your heirs. I did this specifically with all of them in mind. If they need to pick up a crash course on how to do this, now they'll know. My first documentary was about if you're black and broke, it's time to wake up. Now I'm telling you, hey, why don't we go ahead and start using these things? So you just got a taste of it tonight. Can you imagine what the whole film is going to be? You won't have to imagine very much longer. We are going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break because we got a lot more to discuss here tonight. As a matter of fact, we're fully locked and loaded. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll be discussing the new black media. This is the Black Channel.
Hello, my name is Steve Burgess. I'm the author of this book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, a closer look at parenting your school-aged child. In this book, I've explained the role of the parent and the student in addition to what accommodations, procedures, rewards and consequences and expectations that need to be in place to ensure student success from primary to high school. This book is available on Amazon.com. For more information, please visit my link tree at Easy One-on-One and to access my latest podcast, A Teaching Moment with Mr. B. Thank you all for listening.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, "Black first." A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spiritofo1811publishing.com and show your love.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' natural body butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. Here, real quick, let me go ahead and send a shout out here to my man, Mr. Rich Berg. Thank you very much for your support tonight here, brother. Jean Joseph, Black Voltron, Cyberdyne, Andrea Roberson, that's my girl. Thank you all very much for your support, and to everyone who has contributed for tonight's program. And oh yes, by the way, in case some of you noticed, we do have membership turned on. We do have membership turned on. So definitely, I want you all to take a look at that. I didn't get a chance to go ahead and make a post about it, but yeah, I did turn on memberships here. So since they got the monetization on, they'll probably only have it on about 2 or 3 weeks. But in the meantime, go ahead and rock out. So if you want to go ahead and become a member of the channel here, that is available to you as well. So thank you to Christine, Terrence, Logic Before Emotion, and everybody else here who's gotten their Mogul Mays, Nikki the God, and everyone else who's gotten their membership on. My man Project Leroy, always on deck. So you all now have that available to you here as well. Let me tell you, we are fully stacked here tonight because, I wanted to talk to you about the new black media. Yes, sir, folks, they are at it again. They're at it again. Now, this isn't necessarily a new thing here, but there's a reason why I'm saying something about it now. I'm saying something about it now because boy, oh boy, I gotta tell you, what a difference. What a difference getting unemployed from your corporate job can make. What a difference that makes. Isn't it amazing the attitude adjustment that people can have when they got to come out here on their own? Now, in case you didn't recognize them on your screen, that is from the Native Land Podcast. They call it Native Land Pod. And what you have starting at the top is, Tiffany Cross. What? And, well, take a look there. There's Angela Rye. Damn! And who is that I see at the bottom? Oh, wait a minute. Do my Humpty eyes deceive me? Is that Andrew Gillum?
And deal with it, nigga.
Is that Andrew Gillum at the bottom? Oh, I think it is. Wait a minute. Yes, indeed, that is Andrew Gillum. Why, that sure is. So let me get this straight. You have these two attractive nubile females and they put Andrew Gillum in So they are sandwiching Andrew Gillum? What? Wait a minute. What the LGBT is this? So you put, okay, you gonna put him in, you're gonna sandwich him in between Angela Rye and Tiffany Cross. Really? This is an insult. This is an insult. Wait a minute now. This is just an insult. Come on now. What in the heterosexual hell? All right, well, it is what it is. Now, look, this is not actually going to quite go where you all think it's going to go. Not exactly. But let me tell you right now, they did a podcast here. They did a video on YouTube. It's not podcast, people. They did it about reparations. How about we don't pay taxes? And the reason why my ears went up when I saw this is, wait a damn minute here, Angela Rye? I thought all of us were Russian bots for talking like this. I thought we were Russian bots for speaking this way. About I thought we were Russian bots, Angela. Ain't that amazing? Now, when you thought you were in line for a cable TV job, that was one thing there. But by the way, all of a sudden, Angela, so reparations is not Russian bot talk anymore? Not anymore, it isn't? Really? What changed? What changed, Angela? I'm just curious. Because according to you and Tiffany Cross and whatnot, those of us in the new black media we're just these psychos trying to overturn the election and all this. All of a sudden, reparations is cool. All of a sudden there. Not that she goes hard-bodied to demand it, by the way. She just chipping around the edges because she was wondering if somebody over here in the new black media was listening. Spoiler alert, Angela. We were listening. Just in case you were curious whether or not we were listening, Angela. Oh, you were, yes, ma'am, we listening. We sure were. Oh, we caught this. We certainly did. Welcome to the conspiracy, Angela. Welcome to the conspiracy. Stick around long enough and you'll learn something, ma'am.
Join me, and I will complete your training.
Yes, sir. Does somebody have a Russian bot outfit for her? Does somebody have a Russian bot outfit for her? Because when we said no reparations, no vote, she was talking about we were Russian bots. Vote blue no matter who, we were Russian bots. Her and Joyless Reed, we were Russian bots. Remember? Yeah, I couldn't help but notice that. We were all Russian bots when we said no reparations, no vote. Now that she ain't got now that those white folk finally told her what I've been telling the whole damn time, baby, you ain't never gonna get on with them. It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And I'm not saying exactly what you all might think. Jason's beating up on Angela. No, actually, I have some words of encouragement. No, seriously, because they need it over there. But Angela, baby, you miscalculated. You miscalculated tragically. You put all your eggs in their basket over there, not understanding the real lay of the land. Now that she's got to talk straight to the world, she doesn't have a corporate filter to talk to anymore. Now she got to talk straight to the world. I'll be damned. No prompting whatsoever. All of a sudden, reparations up. Now that she can't hide behind MSNBC or the Breakfast Club anymore, now that she has to make a living out here on these streets on her own, now all of a sudden it's reparations up. Where the hell was this a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, Angela? Or Tiffany, or Andrew Gillum for that matter. Where were y'all then when you were calling us names and calling us Russian bots? Where was it then? Are we going to get our apology, Angela? That might require some character there and some integrity. While we're teaching you these other things, perhaps that can be on the menu. But by the way, if Angela wants to do something phenomenal here, she has an opportunity to do that. So on their program here, oh boy, I'm not going to play the whole damn thing because, boy, I'm telling you, it's really a sight to behold here. And fair use, Angela, Tiffany, Andrew, fair use here. I want you all to hear some of what they were talking about here.
Native Land Pod is a production.
Terrence Howard on his Hustle and Flow. The hustle was trying not to pay $900 in taxes.
$900.
Oh, did I say $900? $900,000 in taxes, damn near $1 million. And the flow was, I kind of like this part. He said, you know what? I don't think as black people who are descendants of slaves, we should have to pay this shit. I agree with this.
I'm not mad at it either.
I agree with this part, but good luck.
Now that was Tiffany Cross who said, I ain't mad at it either. Okay, boy, I'm telling y'all, boy, them Miss Milcrams on that unemployment line sure does get a whole bunch of folks, quote unquote, radicalized, doesn't it? What? Yeah, just as soon as they ain't got a gig on MSNBC anymore, as soon as MSNBC locks the doors on them, boy, they start sounding just like us. Isn't this, this is a radical miracle conversion. Ain't this amazing? You didn't hear them talk like this before now. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. Y'all really, the white folks really inspire me? Oh, wait a minute. Black first, damn it. Black first. All right.
With him staying out of jail. We was just talking about jail.
That's the thing. The IRS really just wants their money. Like for people
matter
who
what.
end up, right, the people who end up going to jail, it is really like a double middle finger to them where it's like, I'm just not going to pay you. But I think the larger question of when you consider the wealth that black people created for this country, from the rice to the sugarcane to the cotton, we made this here country a superpower.
Yes.
And the South was its wealthiest region because that is where most of the enslaved were working, and we have never been repaid. We've never had any reparations. We've never seen the benefit of any of that work. As Angela coined the phrase, we built this joint for free.
I'm very glad to hear that, Tiffany Cross. That's Tiffany Cross you hear talking right there. I'm very glad to hear that, Tiffany, because you how many of the candidates and how many of the politicians, when you had a show on MSNBC, did you take to task and say these exact same things to them then? What? I'm just curious, Tiffany, when you actually had a megaphone on cable television and you could have had this conversation with some of the sitting politicians and made this an issue with some of the sitting politicians, by the way, how many of them did you take to task for that? Because it ain't good enough to tell them, we did build this country and, we did reparations. You're supposed to do the same damn thing you would do for the LGBT, Tiffany. And tell them, hey, what are you going to do? How are you going to vote? Why is it you aren't backing this bill? You would be asking them all kinds of probing questions, all kinds of interrogations. That's what you would be doing, Tiffany. When you had a show and when you had a megaphone, that wasn't what you was blowing the megaphone for. Now she's on the internet and all of a sudden they're unapologetically black and can say these things. But back when they used to have some kind of influence in those places, because here's the real tragedy, Tiffany Cross, they was gonna fire your ass anyway.
Auntie, chill.
Let's just stop with the bull crap. Don Lemon sat here and I'm talking about big bubble lip smooched ass on them people and it didn't save him. When are you niggas gonna learn? All of y'all are gonna get your damn walking papers at some point, including Joy Reid. Joy Reid is going to get fired at MSNBC. No, she will not leave voluntarily. She's going to get fired too, just like the rest of you. There is no retirement plan. There is no pension. You all are going to work for them for a few years. You're going to anchor something for a few years so you can be window dressing, and then everybody gets fired. Nobody retires. Nobody lives out their contract. Everyone's going to get fired. The only difference is those of us over here on the internet already knew it, and you folks were too dense to realize it. None of you are going to make it out alive. So if you're gonna go out with your damn boots on. All you really did was sacrifice your integrity and your character. You are going to get fired anyway. Go out with your damn boots on then. Give them something worth firing you over then. Hell, I'm going to get fired any damn way. Ain't no privileged position because you passed the paper bag test and the weave is hanging the right way, we had a damn respect for you if you just gone out with your boots on. Instead of you acting like you were going to get some privileged position, you sitting up here pricing houses in the Hamptons. I'm going out like Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. You ain't got Mika Brzezinski's lineage. That's where you miscalculated, ma'am. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna work. I ain't sitting up here wishing ill on nothing. Why the hell couldn't you tell y'all are gonna get fired anyway? Take a look at every single one of you who walked in there. Goldie Taylor, Melissa Harris Perry, you, Don Lemon, Roland Martin. Everybody gets their damn walking papers. All you did was destroy whatever credibility you could have had with us in the damn meantime. That's all you did. If you had been talking like this then, you probably could have saved your damn job because you would have had our support, by the way. Who knows? Let's go ahead and let Tiffany finish here.
So, on the surface, this sounds like, a kind of silly thing from Terrence Howard. But when you get into it, this brother is making a legitimate point. Yeah. I don't know how we would make this happen, but I would be completely down for some sort of policy that says, yes, you are exempt from paying taxes.
So Tiffany Cross is saying, I don't know how we would make this happen. You know how we would make it happen, Tiffany? Using the tactics that we've been out here using, stomping in the streets. So now we've prepped the land for you to come up here and carpet bag on the internet and pretend that you're somehow invested in this. You know, all of us so-called Russian bots, Tiffany? Tiffany, I don't know how you would do this. Tiffany, you would do it the methods that us so-called Russian bots been using. Your friend Angela Rye, the people that she calls the Russian bots, the ones she's been calling the Russian bots for over half a decade, we the only ones been making a pathway to that. We're the only ones who made a lane for that, which is the only reason you can discuss it. Terrence Howard couldn't discuss it before we laid the groundwork. Before we laid the groundwork, none of them were talking about it. The soil laid the groundwork. And now when y'all get knocked off of your pedestal, then all of a sudden you talk like us. Well, now be damned, why weren't you talking like us then? When you had a big ass megaphone, cause they gon' send you out to pasture any damn way. At least show you rock with the streets. The streets gon' remember you. But you don't have faith in the streets. You got faith in the white corporations that you shamelessly kiss ass to. And then when they finally do send you out to pasture, then all of a sudden, wait a minute, we need to bark back. Now you're at your weakest level trying to bark. At your weakest level trying to bark.
We would have liked to hear Joe Biden say in the State of the Union address that he's going to give black people an evergreen tax credit.
Now that's Angela Rye talking right now. Switch from Tiffany Cross to Angela Rye. That's switching from Tiffany talking about that'd be great to Angela Rye talking about Joe Biden should say that at the State of the Union address.
I would be completely down for some sort of policy that says, yes, you are exempt from paying taxes.
We would have liked to hear Joe Biden say in the State of the Union address that he's going to give black people an evergreen tax credit where we never had to pay taxes.
I will say that he would not win re-election with that message.
That would be the nail in the coffin.
Now, isn't that amazing? So Joe Biden throwing the damn southern border open to illegals. Like you just opened up the doors to the Houston Astrodome. So that's not the death knell. Joe Biden saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That's not the death knell, according to Andrew Gillum. The Dreamer Act and money for illegal. That's not the death knell. Black folk, okay, that's the death knell right there. Can you find the black male who's booed up on a boat with a bunch of dudes?
Well, so what about Donald Trump?
Did you see what we just did?
Yeah, you guys just did a thing.
We said we don't like doing
the whisper.
We just eliminated our imagination.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know them too well.
No, we came down on the side of practical and political and politically reasonable.
Pragmatism.
Because we know the other side too well.
Because we...
Okay, listen to me, everybody. Understand something right now. You put that through Congress and everything else. Some folks are going to holler about it for a minute, and they're all going to shut the hell up. You know why? Because let's understand the psychology of white supremacy in America. They are waiting for a mass black uprising. They have been waiting for a mass black uprising now for 160 years. They have been ever vigilant on watch because when they saw Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey, they said, finally, a rational response from people that you have brutalized for hundreds of years. And if this is the way they feel in New Orleans, and this is the way they feel with Nat Turner, and this is the way they feel with Denmark Vesey, then has to be the popular opinion among these Negroes. And one day you're going to see them all act the same way. That's the reason why white supremacy has existed so violently all this time, because they saw that occur and they said, yeah, that's actually a reasonable response because we have not given them justice. So everyone understands when they see us take to the streets, they all acknowledge, oh, this is because of slavery and the systemic racism that has persisted since. Everybody knows it. They're trying to find a way to circumvent that without the bill coming due. So if the government did say, you know what, we're going to have to do this for them because of racism, because they got a legitimate grievance and this is not going to go away, some folks would holler for a minute and then they would all say, well, you know, they're actually right. We do owe this to them. We've been oppressing them and everything else. They will do it begrudgingly, but they will do it because everyone understands that it's the truth. There's no one who disputes its legitimacy. The only people disputing it is, well, I don't think it's fair that we should have to settle up with this. But what they don't dispute is that it is legitimate and just. Now, that they don't argue about. And you're supposed to have a government that recognizes that and says, hey, we ain't gonna bull jive around on that. Everybody knows this is owed. Everybody knows this is what they're supposed to get. Everybody knows that we've been kicking the can down the damn road for a century and a half. Everyone knows this. And we might as well go ahead and bite the damn bullet before the number goes from 20 trillion to 60 trillion. We might as well go ahead and do this now because you all know this is the right thing to do. Everybody knows it. But then if you want to know how it is that Andrew Gillum got the thumbs up from the Democrats to go into politics, take a look at him. Chief arguer against what we're supposed to get. They start getting cold feet. What really shows you is they haven't learned yet. Andrew Gillum is doing this podcast with them because he thinks this is going to be his back door. Pause. He thinks this is going to be his workaround to be able to get back into politics. No, Andrew. You better call Stacey Abrams and see if she's got a gig for fundraising over there.
Know the other side too well, but should knowing the other side and their objection be enough to stop the demand? And
No,
Terrence
that's a
Howard
good
says, no. You may think that we're past this, but I'm still hanging on to the 40 acres and a mule. And since y'all didn't come to pass with that, now the land seems to be taken up, or it's bad land, or it's good land that you gave to black folks when you thought it was bad land, and now you're coming back to retake it.
They're doing
Hello,
that too.
Miami.
Yeah.
But I will say, I just... What happened to homeboy Wesley Snipes? Did he go to jail?
He went to jail.
You know, I'm
He
so
went to
glad you
prison.
bring this
I'm
up.
just
Go,
trying
because
to-
I got some on this. Go.
I don't know. I just don't
He
want
did.
He went to prison.
Y'all, I'm going to have to settle on my nigga please sound drop. Andrew Gillum. Folks, did you hear this? Andrew Pillow Booty sat up here and just said, did Wesley Snipes go to prison? Did Wesley Snipes go to prison? If Andrew had a black card, it would have got revoked for the second or third time. Did you hear that? Did Wesley Snipes go to prison? Andrew, you didn't even prepare to be black again? You didn't even do any prep work for it. Really? Folks. Okay, so am I wrong for pointing out the obvious? So is it my fault? Is somebody going to blame me? Well, Jason, you wrong for saying it? So it's my fault? So this is my fault for saying it. It's not his fault for what he just said. It's my fault for saying it. Really? So Andrew Squeeze the Charmin is sitting up here telling you, did Wesley Snipes go to prison? Bruh, what?
He did. And here's the thing. That's what I go, because I got some on this go.
I don't know. I just don't. What happened to homeboy Wesley Snipes? Did he go to jail?
He went to jail.
You know, I'm
He
so
went to
glad you
prison.
bring this up. Go, because I got some on this go.
I don't know. I just don't.
He
went to prison.
He did. And here's the thing. That's what I was just about to ask you. I was literally sitting here like, I can only think of tax evasion cases where black people are criminally prosecuted. I can't think of no white folks. Can y'all?
Honestly, it could be because I don't pay that much attention. Like when something happens with Wesley Snipes or Terrence Howard, like it lands in my feed, I see it.
Donald Trump didn't pay no damn taxes.
How about that?
That's a really good
just
point.
pulled up this
That's a
piece
fact.
that says tax evasion by millionaires and billionaires tops $150 billion a year, says IRS chief. And I am curious to know how many of those tax evaders get criminally prosecuted, get their wages garnished, and ever have to do time in prison.
That's very good to hear, Angela Rye. She's the one talking now. That's very good to hear, because when you all had the ear of sitting politicians, Hillary Clinton and the rest of them, y'all didn't ask them these questions. Oh, never mind, because if you're talking about putting folks in prison for not paying their taxes, probably have to grab Nancy Pelosi and some of them other folks too, while you telling us vote blue no matter who. While you're trying to get us to decide this false choice on the twin wings of white supremacy. Well, vote for the left wingers, vote for the right wingers, and both of them are doing the same thing.
Can only think of black folks.
So
I might be wrong. I'd like to be proven wrong.
Do we wonder why the top 1% could, by any reasonable, rational notion, be sitting in the Donald Trump camp today? Well, you got to conclude that Donald Trump and the Republicans inside
Not Donald
Congress.
Trump. I love that he said Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
That's his name. Donald Trump.
Andrew Pooh Bear Gillum is sitting up here talking about Donald Trump. But okay, Andrew, brother, get it together.
Slip of the tramp tongue. But he and the Republicans in Congress have stood up against the IRS, have threatened to zero fund it, have threatened to slow walk the money that was approved during COVID, where Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats said, well, we're going to go after the cheats and those who don't pay their taxes. They enumerated this.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump said, no, we need to get rid of the IRS. And he was not by himself. He had the majority of the Republican leadership in the House who said, no, I'm only pulling back the layer, y'all, because you asked the question, and it's the right question to be asked, that when we make the statement that, and a principal wanted that nah, you owe me, I don't owe you. Nobody is over here explaining from members of Congress or from Donald Trump why it is that they hold the position that they hold.
Okay, did Andrew talk like this when he was running for office in Florida? What? Andrew, where were you to talk like this when you were running for office in Florida? That'd be very interesting if you would, because understand something, nobody is supposed to like the damn IRS, Andrew. You know, your zaddy boo things who took you out on that yacht in those famous pictures you got out there, your zaddy boo thing don't like the IRS. That's why we're in Florida, where you don't have to pay a state income tax. You don't like taxes either, Andrew. Nobody likes taxes. Okay, then you should be the no tax candidate. Tell everybody, hey, we're going to abolish. Hey, everybody, you hate taxes. Oh, let me go ahead and throw the sound on. You hate taxes. All right. And do you hate the IRS? All right. And do you hate having to file tax return forms? And would you like to get rid of the IRS? All right, everybody here. Well, that's right. I'm the candidate for getting rid of the IRS. We're going to get rid of the IRS. We're going to stop folks having to pay taxes to the IRS, and we're going to start with the descendants of the slaves. Andrew, you run for office and you tell them we're going to take this in the graduated process here. We're going to get rid of the IRS. We're going to stop folks from paying taxes. We're going to start with the descendants of the slaves. And then we'll work our way up from there. We're going to start with them. When we get done, nobody's going to have to pay taxes. I have a sneaking suspicion that the train will not make it to the end of that thing. But Andrew, I suggest you start with us first. We'll work out. Remember, a rising tide lifts all boats. Indirect benefits. Black folk not paying taxes would have indirect benefits for LGBT and everybody else. The descendants of the slaves not paying taxes has an indirect benefit for everybody else. So Andrew, beat that drum of indirect benefit. As with so many other things in life, Andrew, you're on the wrong side of this.
And why those folks are never ever held accountable? We shouldn't be surprised.
It's not surprising, but honestly, if we could just take it out of the minutia of politics for a second and the practicality of what it looks like for us. You and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
Our money in our industry is sometimes very clunky. And so sometimes you will get a big lump sum check.
Sure.
And I know what we talked about in our podcast this week about the payroll we inherit when you get money, where mama needs, brother needs, nephew needs, sister needs, cousin needs, auntie needs, and you're paying out everybody. So if I get a lump sum check, let's just say to keep it for easy figures, $100,000, and technically maybe I owe the government $45,000 of that, because once you get to states, and sometimes our work is in different states. So if I've spoken in Indianapolis, if I've spoken in Los Angeles, if I've spoken in Miami, I owe all those places taxes from when I spoke. I don't know. All I'm getting is this big lump sum, and I'm looking at my bills and everything. And guess what I'm saying? To hell with the IRS. I have these bills to pay right now, and that is what is in front of me right now. That's the most urgent thing. I literally did not know. Well, how do I just call up the IRS and say, hey, I got this check, I might owe y'all some money, I don't know how to do it? Like, there is no guidelines to that. And so in the entertainment industry, particularly with Terrence Howard, I can see how you're getting these big lump sums of money and you don't know really how to manage it. That's why some people have business managers, but sometimes business managers is an expense you cannot afford.
That's an accountant or CPA for folks who aren't in the same industry.
But
Okay, I have a couple of accountants. I have a couple of CPAs. So, really? I just want y'all to understand. Look, they ain't making no real money. They ain't making no money. For those of you who are wondering here, they ain't making no money. They're not. This is why as soon as they lost their corporate jobs, here we go. They ain't making no money, y'all. I'm not dissing them. I'm not sitting up here trying to down them, but thank you, Tiffany Cross, for putting it out there. They ain't making no money, y'all.
I can't technically afford a business manager right now. Somebody that's telling me how to spend my money, but those.
So Tiffany Cross is telling us that she can't afford a CPA. What? I'm not dissing Tiffany. What I'm saying is I'll be damned, Tiffany, because we sure as hell couldn't tell on MSNBC. We couldn't tell. When you were taking shots at people who technically we were way lower, not way lower, but you thought that we were way lower on the totem pole than you were. Now you looking up at us. Hey, baby, I ain't got a problem paying my 2 CPAs. I don't have a problem paying them, so you acting like you balling. If I speak in one place, I speak in the other. By the way, hey, Tiffany, would you like me to loan you one of my CPAs? Damn! Hey, everybody, let me make an offer right now to Tiffany Cross. I will loan you one of my CPAs for tax season, Tiffany. If you need help with that, I'll loan you one of my CPAs. Since you're having difficulty getting one, I'll loan you one of mine. Compliments of the not-so-Russian bots. And I didn't need a cable television deal to get it neither. Damn. One more thing, I didn't need a cable television deal to get it neither. You're welcome, Tiffany.
Those are the people who can step in for you. So I actually feel really bad for entertainers who find themselves in that space. I feel bad for me who has found myself in that space.
I feel bad for you too.
Just think, if we have to pay ours and they're on our neck about getting their money from us, then be that on the neck of the folks who are underpaying their taxes or not paying taxes at all. Donald Trump.
Some of them haven't filed since 2017. Yeah. This new bureau is kind of going after them.
Or you didn't have Angela Rye, you didn't have a damn thing to say about that when you were on TV, when you were on cable, when you were on the internet. Tiffany Cross didn't have a damn thing to say about that. Because you can't sit up here. That's not a Republican issue. That's a white issue. You can't be black and owe taxes like that. Them folk already knocking at the door. threatening you with jail time and everything else. Oh, you can't be black and do that. That's why I have 2 CPAs. By the way, you can't be black and do that. That's why I've got 2 of them. You can't be black and do that, and yet I'll be damned when you all had a megaphone, you wasn't trying to stir nothing up like that. Y'all are late to the damn party. I want to skip over here to another one that they did. They had another one that they did here about why they named this the Native Land Podcast, and try to keep from falling asleep here, but I want you to hear what Angela Rye had to say. I want you to see what Angela Rye had to say here about why they did that.
Really deep meaning. When I thought
A number of names, numbers, themes out there. Tell me, in your own opinion, why Native Land as a theme and the topic and the title of this show?
Well, I think y'all know I don't like to do anything shallow. So for me, this has a really deep meaning. When I thought of native land, I thought about James Weldon Johnson and the Black National Anthem and the fact that I will never stand for another national anthem. But in that Black National Anthem, in the last stanza in the 3rd verse, it says, "True to our God, true to our native land." When I think about you all as my friends, my brother, my sister, truth tellers, I deeply when I thought of native land, I thought about James Weldon Johnson and the Black National Anthem and the fact that I will never stand for another national anthem. But in that Black National Anthem, in the last stanza in the 3rd verse, it says, "True to our God, true to our native land." When I think about you all as my friends, my brother, my sister, truth tellers I deeply respect, true to our native land means we can pay homage to the ancestors who were kidnapped from our native land and were brought here to build something that we still have yet to truly benefit from. And we
Okay, first of all, Angela, this is our native land, ma'am. Geographically, genetically, this is our native land, first of all. And as time goes on, we will defeat this white supremacist narrative that somehow these off-white folks are the native people of North America. No, they are not. By the way, one of these days I'll do something in that vein that explains all that and lays it out plainly. But first of all, this is our native land. Second of all, I will give her credit where credit is due. She knows what a stanza is.
Auntie, chill.
So, okay, Angela, I will give you credit there if you know what a stanza is. So, all right, well, at least she has at least one redeeming quality. She has one redeeming quality there. So I will give her that. She does have one redeeming quality. That and those earrings. Folks, you knew it was coming. I mean, all of us knew it was coming. Now, they didn't know. They had no idea, man. They had no idea that they'd have to do this. Not yet. They had no idea that they'd have to do this. Boy, don't you know that they're all saying to themselves, look how the mighty have fallen and how the great men of war lay low. Now, I want to offer some help. No. Seriously. I want to offer some help. First of all, I want your Native Land podcast. I'm not going to say I necessarily want it to succeed because that would be, let's not get carried away. That would be a bit disingenuous if I said that. But you know what? If you all want a couple of pointers on how to make it at this internet thing, because this is brand new to you all and the learning curve is going to be ruthless and I don't think you're going to make it. But if you want to know how this works, first of all, you can't go short form. That's the first thing. There's too many of you to do this. So if you all ain't got 2 hours of broadcast, and that includes you, Andrew, you're going to have to take your hands off of wherever they are for about 2 hours so you can come host this program. If you're not going to give it 2 hours, forget about it. Forget about it. It's not going to work. If they're trying to ease you in, you don't want to do that. You need to learn how to long form broadcast and host. You 3 need to learn how to carry a program for 2 hours straight. No commercials, no guests, just the 3 of you talking and having an engaging conversation by yourselves. Go watch Joe Budden, although he's probably not the greatest example, but it's a good primer for you all to start with because you wish you could have gotten on his program and you could make it. What? But in any case, if you want to watch him and see how that works, go ahead and watch him. Next thing I'm going to tell you, first of all, you all need to train individually. You are entirely too amateurish. You're not even sophomoric, you're amateurish. What are my recommendations? And by the way, Tiffany Cross, you won't have to call your CPA business manager about this one right here. Jason's going to drop this one on you for free. This is complimentary game that I'm giving you here. Complimentary game. Trademark. Tiffany, my recommendation is you need to call up Tariq Nasheed. What? No, I'm not kidding. No, I'm serious. Tiffany, if you want credibility on the internet, if you want to be taken seriously, if you don't want to be a laughing stock, if you want to actually be able to prove something, I recommend that you get a hold of Tariq. Because after you vomited all over yourself, he's made the narrative for you. And you're not going to have any credibility on these internet streets until you talk face to face with him. So if you want to put yourself on the fast track as opposed to the slow lane that you are in to nowhere, my recommendation is you go and talk to him. Just like Sarah Palin needed to talk to Katie Couric, the road to redemption for you runs through Tariq. I got nothing to gain from it here by telling you that. I didn't tell you come talk to me. I told you go talk to him. If you want to know why it is you ain't going to be able to move on these internet streets like that, by the way, he ate your lunch. As far as these internet streets are concerned, he ate your lunch. So, you going to have to go do that. Sitting here talking to Angela Rye and Pooh Bear Gillum is not going to get you there. That's not going to get you there. Yeah, you might want to, baby, this is the internet. It is bare knuckle out here. It is bare knuckle. Anything goes, no rules. Baby, you ain't going to make it out here. You ain't going to make it out here. You ain't built for this. You're built for a cushy little studio job where they vet all the guests and there are a bunch of friendly guests talking to you. That's what you're used to. Baby, you ain't used to this unfiltered world where folks get to sit up here and say what they saying. You're going to get ate up. You don't have the street credibility. So you have a lot to answer for. So if you want to make it in podcasting here, you got a lot to answer for. You can dodge this if you want to. It'll just be a very slow, very painful, very ugly death online. That's all it's going to be. So if you want to have any viability, and it sounds like this native land thing was Angela's idea, baby, if you want to have any viability when you two break up, and you're going to break up, when you want to have any viability when that happens, I recommend you need to go talk to him. Even if you think it's going to go disastrously, you have some accounting to do. You're not going to be able to sit up here and have MSNBC set up the guests and set up the questions. No, if you want credibility, you got to talk to folk who got credibility. And in your case, after what you said about him and Kevin Samuels, and you were taking shots at all of us to be told, y'all just threw their names up there, but we're not stupid. They were just symbolic of all of us here. So, it's one big nigga. So we know what you were talking about. But you know what? I'm going to let you live, Tiffany. I'm not even going to take responsibility or ownership of that. I'm going to tell you, by the way, this is all a farce. And if Tiffany wants to get credit on the reparations streets, if she wants to get credibility on the black streets, if she wants to get credibility on the black empowerment streets where she has none, that cocktail and croissant circuit that you were living on for the previous 2 or 3 years before they fired you. And I know that it is a bit of a sore subject. I understand. I'm not going to keep twisting the knife on it there, but I'm just saying, hey, by the way, now you don't have that anymore. And if you think sitting next to Angela and Andrew, get him good, Gillum is going to save you, You got another damn thought coming. This ain't MSNBC. iHeartRadio don't have no pull on these streets. You need to make yourself a name and a personality of your own. That's where it goes for you. Next, Angela Rye. Well, Angela, I'm not going to invite you to talk to me. We ain't going to do that. That would be a big benefit for you. We're not going to do that. But what I am going to say is, baby, you need some black credentials. I'm not dissing you right now. I'm not being mean-spirited. I'm not being insulting. Angela Rye, you completely hoard out your soul between MSNBC and The Breakfast Club. Now for you to come out here into the real world where you aren't protected, where you don't have cable television producers to run interference for you, baby, you got to face the real music and you have to have some real appeal, and you don't have any black credentials, Angela. You don't have any black men of any standing to vouch for you. You don't have any black accomplishments to stand behind. You don't have them, Angela. You don't have it. You are going to have to get some black credentials. You spent all this damn time, like so many of you did, jockeying for a corporate position, or, oh my God, deluding yourselves into thinking that you were going to get a White House deputy press secretary job. What? Do y'all realize how many of these black women sit up there on cable television telling themselves they were going to get a deputy White House press secretary position? Roland Martin has been waiting around now for a decade for that phone call. He's no closer to getting that phone call than Earth is from Voyager 2 today. Damn! It just keeps getting further away every year, and it doesn't register to him. You're not going, Johnny. It ain't happening. Angela sat up here and sacrificed all of her credibility. She became a card-carrying Democrat. Now she's trying to convince the world that she's a card-carrying black empowermentist. Now all of a sudden she wants to convince you that she's a black identitarian. No, ma'am, you're a Democrat. That's what you are. That's what you've been. And if you want to try to reinvent yourself, you got a lot of work ahead of you. And it's not gonna work with the people that you surrounded yourself with. You three jackalopes can sit up here and try to recreate your reincarnation of what you had on cable television. Not you, Andrew, whatever you had in that hotel room. You can try to reinvent your reincarnation of that all you want to. It ain't gonna work out here. This isn't some place where you got some big corporation that makes billions and billions of dollars at something else, so they can ignore the core black constituency because they can subsidize it through all these other trinkets and gimmicks and widgets that they sell. So you can be a lost leader. It don't work that way on the internet. You sink or you swim. You sink or you swim. Anybody remember the so-called podcast with Michael Eric Dyson and the three merry idiots? Anyone remember the one with Van Jones? Anyone remember that? And take a look at him. He got that $100 million from Jeff Bezos. You ain't seen him since. That nigga did a damn Bernie Madoff. What? I ain't hating on him. He grabbed that $100 million and said, what outreach? What work? Ain't gonna happen. Angela Rye, you have a whole reconstruction effort to do, baby. You're trying to talk to an audience that is foreign to you. This isn't New York City where you can be shielded and protected. You got to talk to Atlanta. You got to talk to Louisiana. You got to talk to California. You got to talk to Minnesota. You got to talk to Florida. You got to talk to North Carolina. You got to talk to Kentucky. You got to talk to Arkansas. You got to talk to South Dakota. You got to talk to Seattle. You are a foreigner on these internet streets. But worse than a foreigner, you're a trespasser. Damn. That's the problem for you. You're not just a foreigner, you're a trespasser. You three carpetbaggers told yourselves, let's set up a program here, and if iHeart will payroll it or bankroll it, we'll be all right. Without any acknowledgement of the fact that, by the way, where's your credibility to come speak to that internet audience? We're not the cable TV audience you've been eating off of all this time. There is no fence between you and the real world now, which is why you all's tunes have radically changed from what they were just a year ago. Boy, this is a whole new group of niggas up here. And thinking that we've all forgotten what the hell you did and you're just gonna sit up here and sprinkle on a little powdered sugar. Andrew, don't take that the wrong damn way, Negro. You're gonna just go ahead and sprinkle on a coat of paint and you're gonna be brand Nubian. No, baby, oh, no. We checked the paperwork. The paperwork on you three? Oh, y'all can't walk the yard nowhere. The three of you can't walk the, especially you, Andrew. Damn. The three of you can't walk the yard nowhere. None of y'all. The three of you ain't got a hall pass or nothing. Y'all's paperwork is dirty as hell on the yard, and we know your rep and your name and your documentation on every yard in the system. There's no yard in the system that you all are legit on. None. Not a one. Ain't nothing you got, nothing you trying to do that's legit. None of you. So you can keep telling yourselves you gonna make it. And you can keep telling yourselves, well, do they really remember? Yes, we really do remember. And we've been sitting right here, posted up on the block, waiting for the day you were gonna rear your heads, and here you are. Just like we knew you'd be. And you probably taking a look at Bowling Ball Martin and telling yourself you can do the same damn thing. And it's not going to work out any better for you than it worked out for him, because he's already grabbed all the easy suck-up money that there was out there. Angela, you ain't got that going for you. And no, you and Tiffany are not going to be able to get along. No, you're not. Tiffany talks too fast and too smart, and that's going to get on Angela's nerves at some point, because she's going to feel like she's being outshined by the fast-talking smart little girl. So no, there is 0% chance that you two heifers are able to work together for any real amount of time without yanking each other's weaves smooth slap the hell out.
Auntie, chill.
No, there's no chance. None. You two certainly ain't gonna make it. And Andrew can't even bring the Andrew brothers. Oh, Andrew, what we gonna do? Andrew has Andrew figured out which team he's backing yet, or is this? Has Andrew figured out which way things is gonna go, or just is that still a work in progress? Or did we hear about the brother Wesley Snipes? Did we hear about Andrew? Has he figured out what it's gonna be? Andrew, have you figured out what it's gonna be? I mean, why are you thinking about the rest of the world? By the way, have you figured out? Because I'm trying to help you is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do that. But yeah. Because, okay, what I'm saying is there's too much damn estrogen energy in that studio. That's all I'm saying is I'll be damned. Ain't no masculine. Where's the masculine energy in that studio? Or is that Angela's job?
Auntie, chill.
I'm just asking, where is the masculine energy? Who is representing the heterosexual black males on this program? You know, half the population, despite what Andrew Gillum told y'all. I know Andrew Gillum gave you his own personal statistics, but Andrew is wrong. I'm going to say wrong. I'm not going to say that he's lie. I'm just going to say he's wrong. But where is the masculine energy here, man? Where's the masculine energy? I'm trying to find it. I got a magnifying glass and a seeing eye dog, and I can't find the masculine energy. Okay, here's what I'm saying. Ladies, if you're going to tell me that Andrew is the masculine representative, please find me the room full of black men that he going to sit in and kick some game too. What? That's all I'm saying. Oh, is Andrew coming to Drink Champs? Oh, I can't wait to see this interview. Yeah, y'all better stick to talking about the IRS and foreign policy, because what program is he gonna go on and lead the brothers? Okay, I didn't say Andrew can't be there with y'all. I'm just saying, by the way, where's the masculine energy here? Do you all, Angela, Tiffany, do you think that Andrew is making you better at talking to black men in general? Do you think that's what's happening? Do you think that Andrew is preparing the two of you to talk to the black men of the internet streets? You know, Tiffany, that Kevin Samuels audience that you were mocking? You know, that Kevin Samuels audience? You're going to have a hell of a time with that, baby, because you don't identify with none of that, and neither does Andrew. And you think he's prepping you for that? You think Andrew's putting you in a good spot? Hey, well, you know, and here's what the brother's really talking about. No, you all are trying to recreate the cushioned cocoon, corporate cocoon that you came from. That coddled nursery that you were at on cable television. And I'm just trying to give you some useful advice and a heads up. Baby, it don't work that way out here. You're on our turf. And we got years ahead of you. You're on our turf over here. You don't even know the rules over here. You don't even know the rules. Y'all done violated every damn regulation there is. You don't know the rules over here. So I hope that you enjoy your summer vacation into internet podcasting. I hope you enjoy that. Because I'm here to let you know right now, you ain't did your prep work. And if you're not going to do it right now, you're dead in the water, kid. You're dead in the water. It's not going to work. Dana White once said that you don't come to the UFC to learn how to fight. You got to know how to fight before you get here. Well, Angela, Tiffany, Andrew, you don't come to the internet to learn how to podcast. You got to know how to do that before you get here. You got to know how to do that before you get here. You can't do on-the-job training. You got to already know what you're doing. And you don't know how to talk to this audience. You don't know how to talk to them. You don't identify with them. You spend all your damn time telling yourself that they were going to put you up in some posh apartment or condo on 5th Avenue or in Hudson Yards. That's what you thought you were going to get. Now you done got kicked out the house and you back out here with the field niggas. Trying to act like, hey, with my light-skinned ass, I was on your team the whole time. I was on your side the whole time, guys. Me and Andrew, Y'all three awkward niggas. Y'all stick out like people wearing FBI jackets in a crack house. What the hell? We were with y'all the whole time, guys. Oh, I can give you a chapter and verse and a Negro national anthem. She didn't get the memo. That's old nigga talk, Angela. That's old nigga talk you trying to throw on us. You trying to spit old nigga game. She thinks she gonna come out here and spit old nigga game at a bunch of new folks. Next, she'll be telling us about Damn Me Edmund Pettus Bridge. That's up next. Baby, we already heard the Negro National Anthem Pettus Bridge talk. That ain't gonna swing nothing over here. You don't even know how to talk to us. You thought because you learned the word reparations on the 1 yard line that you can sit up here and swing that around like a flag and that's going to get you out of everything, considering the fact that I don't think any of you actually qualify for it. We know Angela don't. Here, let me swing around the word reparations since the new black media has prepared the ground and prepared the soil, and let me go ahead and slip on this sheep skin over my wolf. Hopefully nobody can see my fangs and my claws. And I'm not even roasting you, Angela. What I'm telling you is, look here, bae. Niggas see you. You didn't get to fly in under the radar. Things didn't pop the way you thought it would be. We see you, boo. We see you. And yes, we got all your paperwork sitting right here. I got your paperwork sitting right here, heifer. Fakeness, larceny, suspected bedwentry, double agentry. Baby, your paperwork dirty as hell. Your paperwork dirty as hell. You got to go back and get all this cleaned up. You got to get all this cleaned up. And Andrew Gillum? Oh, nigga. I would tell you that you got paperwork, but my nigga, that was the sound of the book. Nigga, you ain't just got a file, you got a cabinet. Oh, you don't even want to. Bed bucking, buck dancing, bucking, buckaroony, buck backwards, buck up, buck down. It's buck broken, buck fixed, buck breaking, buck break dancing. Andrew. Oh, dude. Man, your rap sheet reads like the DSM. Oh, no, his rap sheet read like the Encyclopedia Britannica. Oh, hell no. Andrew. Dude, you is notorious. Oh, no. No, Andrew, I don't even know where Andrew needs to start. I know where these other two need to start. Andrew, I don't even. Brother, now, let me be very, very clear. Andrew, like anybody else, I don't have a problem with Andrew wanting to return to public life. That's perfectly fine. What I'm saying is, Andrew, what's your credentials? What's your credentials? Andrew's just jumping out here and whatnot, and I'm saying, hey, bro, what are your credentials to speak on us? What are your credentials to even speak on us, man? None of y'all even thought about this before you got started. Where's your credibility and your credentials to speak on these things after the last 5-6 years of what y'all done did? You can't wish and dream your way through this. Baby, you're on our turf now. I'm talking about Tiffany and Angela, not you, Andrew. When I say baby, I'm talking about them, not you. I don't want no DMs. I don't want no late night calls. I don't want no early morning calls. I don't want no noontime calls. So Andrew, just do not take that the wrong way. That was for them, not you. Y'all are on our turf. You don't know the rules. You ain't got no qualifications. Ain't nobody can vouch for you. You ain't got nobody you can check in with. That's what I'm telling you. You ain't got nobody you can check in with. You can believe your damn ass kissers on the internet if you want to. You better take a look at them damn numbers. You better take a look at them numbers and understand that. So I can't wait to see how it goes. We'll be back to this a little bit later, y'all. We're gonna check back in on the new black media. We'll check back in on them, and we'll see if it breaks down exactly the way I said it was gonna break down. We'll see if it goes exactly the way I said it was gonna go. Or maybe we got the next Joe Rogan's podcast. Maybe we got that. Maybe we got the next Joe Rogan's experience. We'll see. We'll see. They gonna have plenty of time to get to it if they attempt to avoid taking the advice I gave them tonight. Because let me tell y'all three, if you thought you had a hard ass time on cable television, you ain't seen a damn thing yet. You ain't seen a damn thing yet. Y'all thought y'all had it rough at MSNBC? You ain't seen nothing. You've entered the world of bare knuckle hand-to-hand combat, and none of you have any experience at this. Y'all better get a sponsor. And I'm not talking about a corporate one. Somebody who can vouch for you, and you ain't got that, which means you're going to have to build your credibility from the grassroots up. And guess what? Here's the kicker about it. If you all were to actually apply yourself and to do that, and assuming that you could succeed, that would actually get you back on cable television faster than anything else. But more importantly, you wouldn't need cable TV or a corporate sponsor anymore. The world is actually waiting for a black female who can handle these subjects properly. Even you, Angela. The world would actually be receptive to that. So far, it hasn't encountered it. But let me tell you, without the street cred, you ain't gonna get there. You three got too much damn baggage. The three of you have too much baggage to make it on these internet streets. Way too much baggage. You gonna have to dump them bags off and get them bags scrubbed and cleaned up before you can start marching these streets. You got too much baggage. That's all there is to it. You got too much baggage. You gonna have to get that paperwork cleaned up. And you won't be able to do it by an interview with Charlemagne. If you don't come through the new black media, your paperwork gonna stay dirty. It is what it is. We've had a barn burner of a program here tonight, and we're gonna go ahead and end it on a high note and wrap things up. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the haven of intelligent black thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell, join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, go and check out our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m. Gentrified Race War, coming soon, 8 a.m., all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. And as we sit here from the outset of the program, 8 a.m. is coming. The crowdfunding is open. The link for it is in the description of the video. My mods will post it in the chat room here. You can be a part of this historic event. For those of you who saw the first hour of the program here tonight, You can see exactly what's coming. And that was just a taste of it. So go ahead and join us on our crowdfunding effort here. More is on the way. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.